Dictionaries. Oftentimes, we will want to access pieces of information by name. An easy example of this is if you wanted to keep track of all of your friends' names, ages, and states they live in. How would you store this? One answer is in a list of lists, but this quickly becomes impractical. Another answer is a class. We will talk about this in a later course. The most simple answer is a dictionary. To start, let's take a look at a dictionary for a single person. We create a dictionary by setting a variable equal to curly braces. Much like a list, entries into the dictionary are separated by commas. Notice what each entry is, though. It's not a single value like we saw in lists. Instead, it's a key value pair separated by a colon. The first entry's key is first name. The first entry's value is Tony. Keys are typically strings, but Python allows integers and floats also. Keys must be unique. We couldn't have two first name keys. Unlike keys, values can be anything at all. Strings, integers, floats, lists, dictionaries are all allowed, along with anything else that you can create in Python. Printing the dictionary produces about what was put in. Printing the type of our dictionary produces the shorthand dict. The real power of dictionaries comes when accessing values. Values are accessed by putting the key in brackets after the dictionary. In this example, we are pulling out the person's first name and last name and printing them. As expected, we get Tony Macaroni. Let's go back to the question I posed at the beginning. You want to keep track of all of your friends' names, ages, and the states they live in. How would you do this? Well, we know how to store one person from our last example. To store multiple, we could make a person dictionary for each friend and then store all of those dictionaries in a list. Let's try it and see. I wrote out my 3 friends here and added them all to a list. So far, so good. Now, what happens when I want to look up Peter's last name? Well, I need to know what index in the list Peter's dictionary is stored in. I can use that index to access Peter's dictionary and then pull the last underscore name value from the dictionary. This works pretty well, seeing as I only have 3 friends. But let's pretend you are building this friend tracker for the popular kids at school. Their friend group is much larger than 3 people, and it is often changing. It would be a pain for them to have to remember the index of each friend when they wanted to look something up about them. Here is the better solution. First, notice that the code hasn't changed much. The only thing we are doing differently is that friends is a dictionary, where the key is the person's first name and the value is the person's full detail set. Now, to look up Peter's last name, all that we have to do is retrieve Peter from our dictionary using his first name and then retrieve his last name using the last underscore name key. As you can see, our output is the same. Accessing values in a dictionary isn't only easier for you as a programmer, it is also much easier and faster for the computer. When the computer needs to access a value from a list, it must start at the beginning of the list and then count its way forward the number of indexes that you specified. So if the item is at index 1000, the computer must count to 1000 to access the value you want to look up. But with a dictionary, the computer is able to directly access Peter by name without having to look at all the other items in the dictionary.